What's going on, everybody? Yes! What's happening? How's everybody doing? It is 2026. 2026. It's hard to believe, folks. Hard to believe that it is 2026. Tuesday, January the 6th, 2026, 7:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you are all doing well. Hope you had a great Christmas and a great New Year, and you're looking forward to 2026. Let me know. How was your Christmas? How was your holiday? Did you have a good time? Did you eat a lot? Did you eat turkey? Did you get what you want did you get what you wanted for Christmas? Did you get what you wanted for Christmas? That's what I want to know. Did you get the big gift that you wanted for Christmas? Let me know. Hope you are all doing well. Hard to believe that, the new year is here. It feels like these years are going by a lot faster than I recall them ever going by. But nonetheless, it's great to see. We'll see who funnels in today, but Josh McKenna gets us started with a super chat. I'll get to that in just a second. Chester Franklin Jr. is here. Dean Renner is here. Lamontre Gillard. Is that how you say that? Brandon Collins, of course, and others are filing into the chat. So, I wanted to jump on and just do the first live show for everybody of 2026 and kind of just, see how everybody's doing. Josh McKenna says, he said, thank you for the super chat, Josh. He says, I'll be late to the stream, but did you hear some Stranger Things fans think the finale was a ruse and there's a secret episode? The theory has me quoting Cousin Eddie. You serious, Clark? Yeah, no, look, I know all about this. It's all over social media. I'm a Stranger Things fan, but I had no idea there were rabid super fans out there until I did a few videos and I made a few social media posts. If you follow me on X, you would have seen my posts. There's no episode tomorrow. There's no secret episode. That doesn't mean there might not be something. I don't know. Maybe something about one of the spinoffs or the animated series. There isn't a 9th fully fleshed out episode coming tomorrow. This is the first stages of grief, folks, which is denial. And a lot of fans who are not happy with the ending for a variety of different reasons, most notably Eleven's fate. Look, I have my thoughts on it. I've done a couple of videos on it. But these are people that are angry and pissed off, and I believe are back engineering to look at the episodes or the episode and find a way to think that it's going to keep going. There's no 9th episode. I will be stunned. I will be shocked. And I will come on here and I will eat my words 100%, but I am 99.999% sure there is not a 45 to 50 minute episode that completely retcons everything from the previous episode just to give you what you wanted. That's not what's going to happen. That is so. I wouldn't make any bets. But I have seen it. And when you watch those type of episodes with people, analyzing, the final episode, when you watch those videos, did I say episode? I meant videos. When you watch those videos of people analyzing the final episode and, it's the wooden bulletin board with the red push pins and the strings, right? It's the doing this, that, and you're trying to connect all the dots and everything. And when you watch those types of videos in a vacuum, they can be very convincing, but that's also because they don't have a counter argument coming in on it, right? And so, look, they didn't spend millions of dollars to make a fake ending. That's not what they did. The epilogue was 45 minutes long. So what, you telling me that there's a 9th episode with another 45-minute epilogue? No. I'm not saying that those kinds of things, but usually you are. This is uber rabid super fans who are upset at the ending of Stranger Things who can't let it go. And then they glom on to, maybe there is something that's going to drop tomorrow. Maybe there is. But it's not going to be a 9th episode with all the characters and Hawkins and all the it's not going to be that. Maybe it's some sort of companion piece, some sort of 10-minute video with the nerdy teacher in the classroom explaining wormholes or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, there could be something like that, but you're not getting the Duffer Brothers are not going to release an episode tomorrow. Psych! Gotcha! All those millions of dollars. No, we do this. Here's your real ending. Why didn't you just give us that in the first place? Like, it doesn't make any... What's the motivation behind that? Just to piss everybody off to get... No, it's not happening, folks. So if you're one of those fans, I would dial it back. I would temper your expectations, but I will eat my words. I will come on here and eat my words. It's not happening. It's not happening. Daz1428 says, "Hey all, never seen Stranger Things, so I don't know what people are crying about, but there are always people complaining about an episode. Well, take your favorite show. And it's a series finale of one of the most popular television shows in television history. Whether you've seen an episode or not, whether you care about the show or not, it is one of the biggest, most popular television shows in the history of television. And of course, it just had its not season, but series finale. And of course, with that comes micro analyzing and all that kind of stuff. And it's like Game of Thrones, right? People are going to bitch and moan and whine and cry and because they didn't get what they wanted and they can't let it go. And so that's really what it's all about. But it is what it is. Brandon, member chat, 26 months. Thank you, Brandon. Says the same people who think there's a new episode that changes the ending are the same folks who think the Snyderverse is getting restored. 100%. 100%. Yes, it's true. And this is largely, look, I spent way too long. If you follow me on X, even on my Many Things Facebook page, but more on X because I'm responding to people on X, it was the holidays, right? I was bored. I admittedly spent way too much time. And I say this, I don't mean to sound pretentious or condescending when I say this, but I spent way too much time not arguing, but responding to people who really we're not on the same level. I don't mean that they're not as smart as me or they're stupid people. That's not what I mean. I just mean in terms of our understanding of filmmaking and the business and structure and narrative and mythology and symbolism and cinematic language and, all these things, right? I'm talking to people that are just responding emotionally, right? They didn't get what they wanted. They wanted Mike and Will to kiss. They wanted, Eleven and Mike to go off and, frolic in the flowers and pick daisies. And they wanted a happy ending and happily ever after. And I spent way too much time trying to explain why actually the ultimate sacrifice, when you think about mythology and, history and cinematic language, why that actually, and then, shut up! And I'm just like, I spent way too much time. Now, there were some people that got it, and understood and totally got it. But a lot of these people just don't. And a lot of these people, I realize they're probably 19 years old. They're probably 18. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Just because I can tell by, the bruh and the bros and the syntax and the language being used, you're like, yeah, this is not a 45-year-old man. If it is, then, wow. So I spent way too much time, because, people were just yelling and screaming at me and I had nothing to do with the ending, but because I actually, if you've seen it, I like that there was, I didn't like that they didn't pick it. They kind of wanted to have their cake and eat it too. I would have, without spoiling it, because I don't know who hasn't seen it yet. But if you haven't seen it yet, you're obviously in no rush. It's been out almost a week. But I will say that in regards to the main character 11, I was right. But the Duffers were trying to play it a little safe. They're trying to, well, she might be, but maybe she's not. But maybe she is, but maybe she's not. And it's like, I would have committed. I think committing to the ultimate sacrifice, I just kind of said it. But I think committing to, I think committing to the ultimate sacrifice, it's been a week. If you haven't seen it, you're in no rush. I think committing to the ultimate sacrifice is the stronger choice narratively, structurally, and I think that's what they should have done. But they tried to play it coy and leave a little wiggle room to that maybe she's really still out there. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's, but I mean, that's not, sometimes the best endings, folks, sometimes the best endings aren't the coziest, don't make you feel comfortable, but they make sense from a symbolic standpoint, it's a stronger narrative choice. And it's not just because it's cool to kill people. That's not what I mean. I mean that when you look at everything that was building up with this character and everything that was moving forward, it's the stronger choice. And so to do it, but to kind of go, well, maybe not. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? But I also understand there's no business in the future with Dead 11 merch. And so I do get that. But there were people that wanted more of the we live happily ever after ending. And you didn't get that with a couple of characters. And that's fine. I'm fine with that. Totally fine with that. Chester, Happy New Year. Thank you, Chester. What are my 5 top movies of 2025? What movies am I looking forward to in the new year? It's a tough thing to answer, Chester, because I'm not a movie reviewer, right? So, like, that's something movie reviewers like Cody Leach or, Sean Chandler or, all these channels that watch lots of movies. I don't watch as many movies as you might think I do, being a movie guy and having a movie channel. And so if I was to give you my top movies of 2025, they wouldn't necessarily be the top movies of 2025. They would just be the movies I've seen, right? Like I would put, Abigail on there. Well, who had Abigail as as one of the top 2025 movies? Nobody did, right? But that's I saw it. Like I don't see as many movies as you might think. So it's hard for me to do. That's why I never really do lists, because I don't, it takes me a while to get around to seeing them. And sometimes I don't see everything. Whereas movie reviewers are great because they have to see everything and anything, even if they don't want to see it. And so like Cody Leach sees hundreds of movies a year, hundreds of new movies a year. I might see like new movies in the theater, 5, right? Okay, so what movies did I see in the movie theater last year? I saw Late Night with the Devil. I saw, that was 2024. That was 2024. So what movies did I see in the theater in 2025? So in 2025 in the theater, I saw Wolfman. That was like a year ago now. I saw Superman. I saw Avatar. And I think that was it. I think those are the only 3 movies I saw in the movie theater last year. Not the only movies I saw last year, but the only movies I saw in the movie theater last year. I'm not kidding. Unless there's something else. Now, in 2024, it was Abigail, Nosferatu, The Devil Made Me Do It, Late Night with the Devil, not The Devil Made Me Do It. Late Night with the Devil, Long Legs. Superman. I saw Superman. Oh, no, did I say that? So, yeah, I saw... in 2025, I saw Superman, Avatar, Nosferatu. Wolfman. Yeah, I think I don't see. So it's hard for me. So it's hard. And then there's a couple of movies I saw on streaming that I really liked. I think I saw The Heretic last year, but The Heretic's not a 2025 movie. It's a 2024 movie, but I saw that last year. I watched Eden Lake, which is like 15 years old now or something. It's old, but but that was one of my favorite movies I saw last year, but it was an older movie, but I didn't see it until last year. And shout out to Darren from OnlySans who recommended that. Amazing movie, just awesome. So I do see movies, but because I'm not a movie reviewer and this channel doesn't, I don't have to, it's hard for me to pick my top 2025 movies. I don't know. I really don't know. The only movie I can think of that I'm looking forward to this year is Disclosure Day, that I can think of off the top of my head. Obviously, Spielberg is my favorite movie. I'm looking forward to Spielberg and his new movie, not him, but his new film. Very, very, very excited about that. It's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky. I understand I'm a movie channel and you would think, oh, Dave must go to the movies all the time. I go to theater all the time. I see tons of movies. Not as many as you would. I watch movies on a regular basis, but they're usually older movies from years prior that I've yet to see yet, that I got to catch up on, or, you know what I mean? I might see new current movies in that year, a handful, in the theater. It's not, I don't go. as much as you would think, which is interesting. But, Weapons, of course. Thank you. Yes, I saw Weapons. Thank you. So Superman, Weapons, Avatar, and Wolfman, I think were the 4 movies I saw in the movie theater in 2025. So I could say those are my top movies, but is that really honest? Well, no, those are the movies I saw in the movie theater. And then I got to think about, so Eden Lake I would put as one of my top movies, but that's not a 2025 movie. You know what I mean? So I guess it depends on how you frame it, right? Depends on how you frame it. But yeah, it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. Let me see here. Michael King says, I'm the same, Dave. Watched Silver Bullet last night for the first time. Yeah, it's funny. Again, I mean, if I was a movie reviewer, right, like Cody Leach or Sean Chandler or even Lee. I mean, Lee's a movie reviewer per se, I guess, right? The guys at Wham, right? The Mike guy, the Mike guys, Mike and Jay, that's their job. Right. So that's why there's so many videos they put out with so many movies they're reviewing. And at the end of the year, our top 30 movies of 2025. I'm like, top 30? I haven't seen 30 2025 movies. Not even close. Like I've said, maybe I've seen 4 or 5 2025 movies. Right. And so it might come across as a bit strange. Like, yeah, but you're a movie guy. You're a filmmaker. I thought you would be like watching movies all the time. It's like, oh, I do. I watch a lot of movies, just not all from the same year, right? And so something like I just watched Dr. Sleep back in November for the first time. It's been out since 2019. It took me 6 years to watch it. It's kind of how I roll sometimes. It's weird. Not with everything, but sometimes I don't get around to the to the movies that you guys have already watched for, years. By the way, I want to say this now because I want to promote it because it just dropped. And I want to promote it for you guys because a lot of you have been waiting for this. If you've seen my social media posts, the tickets to the private live event with me and some of my college friends talking about the real story behind Port Robinson Road are now available. I had to move the tickets off of Indiegogo onto a platform called Universe, which is run by Ticketmaster. So it's totally legit. It's very easy. But I initially made the post yesterday, and a lot of you guys were trying to get tickets. And Indiegogo has completely revamped their platform. It's a complete overhaul. And I don't like what they've done. Indiegogo, I love you, but it is overly complicated, completely unnecessary for the backers and for me. I still am trying to find where to. It's just crazy. I don't like what they've done at all. So to speed up the process and I emailed Indiegogo, but I haven't heard back yet. And it's been, 36 hours. So I'm like, no, screw this. I'm going to find a different platform. I was going to go with Eventbrite, but I decided to go with Universe, again, which is not owned, but it's like Universe by Ticketmaster. I think Live Nation purchased them or something like that. So those tickets are available. I'm going to put the links in the chat here for a second. So what this is, for those of you that may not know, this is to continue to help raise funds for the development of the house on Port Robinson Road. So all proceeds go to the development funds because it's 2026 and I want to have a really big year this year in regards to that film, in regards to that project, and I want to push it as far as I can. And so myself and some of my old college friends who have agreed, they're not hosts and live streamers or anything like that, but they have agreed. Some of them have agreed to do a private live show with me on Saturday, February the 21st, 2026 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will be talking and discussing the real story of Port Robinson Road. We've never done this. This is a one-time event. This will not be made available to the public after the fact. This is very special and very exclusive. It is a ticketed event. Why is it ticketed? It's just I had some people go, it's just a stupid stupid live stream. No, it's not. It's not me coming on here talking about movies and Halloween and Michael Myers nose hairs. This is me and, some of my old college friends, some of whom I haven't seen in 25 years. And we're going to be discussing the real events. It's exclusive. It's special. I want to have control over it. I want to have, there might be some things we're talking about, some information we're talking about that I don't want out there just for the entire public to know. And so it's exclusive. And so there's two tiers. There's a live event tier, and there's also the replay tier. So the live event tier, you get to join us live Saturday, not live like on camera, but like live how we are right now, right? You're in the chat room. And so that's Saturday, February 21st, 2026, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll probably go for 2.5, 3 hours, something like that. I've scheduled it for 3 hours. So you'll notice when you purchase the tickets, there's a 3-hour block. It may not go that long, but I wanted to have that long in case we do, because there's going to be like 4 or 5 of us on the thing, right? And with that purchase, you get to partake in the Q&A, obviously, and you get to ask us anything and everything about the real events that we'll be discussing. If you're new to the channel, you're like, what real events? Like, what happened? Well, it deals in the realm of I hate to say it like this because it was far more than just this, in terms of the Hollywood cliche aspect, but will make sense to you. The unusual, supernatural, paranormal events that we experienced from November 2000 to April 2001 at an abandoned farmhouse over on a street called Port Robinson Road that is the inspiration for the psychological horror drama that I am in development on, that I've been working on for over 20 years now. The script is done. The lookbook is done. I want to make some significant gains. I ran a development funds campaign, not a production budget campaign, but a development funds campaign on Indiegogo last year. A lot of you watching right now know about that. You contributed to that. And I thought this would be another great way to help raise some more funds, because we have stretch goals that, we want to meet, because I really want to push the development of this project further and get people on board. And so one of the ways to do that is to do this live stream. So you get to partake in a Q&A. You will also get emailed a digital concept poster, one of the concept posters that is from the official film's lookbook. So that's if you purchase the live stream ticket. But if you can't make the event and you still want to support, like, I'd love to, but I'm busy that night. I have to go and play pickup sticks with my butt cheeks, or whatever you're doing on Saturday, February 21st, 2026, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will put the links in the chat here in a second. There is a link to a replay as well, right? They're two separate links, a replay. So that's a bit cheaper. But keep in mind, obviously, you don't get to partake in the Q&A, obviously, because it's not live. And you don't get emailed a digital concept poster. So it is a replay link. What happens with that is after the event is done, the next morning, so the morning of Sunday, February the 22nd, I will email you the link, the replay link, and that will be available for about 72 hours. So it's not indefinite. It's about 72 hours. And the reason for that, again, is because I want to control. I don't want it out there indefinitely. So the replay kind of acts like renting a movie, like a, PVOD kind of thing, right? So there's two options there. So I'm very excited about this. I made social media posts about it today. I am going to do a short on my channel probably tomorrow about it as well, because shorts seem to do well. And yeah, this is the real story. I've talked to them already. There is a video I will play for you here in a second, which I uploaded to my channel, which is kind of a bit of a teaser for the live show. It's not a documentary. Like some people, I think that the video that I uploaded is like a teaser for a documentary I'm doing or something. That's not what that is. I just had to speak to a lot of the people that I've been trying to get on this show, and sort of I asked them if I can use their voice or their clips or their face in this little teaser to promote the live show. And they're like, yeah, sure. No problem. But I'm very excited about this. I'm also very thankful to those who have agreed to do it. I did reach out to more people. Some people, everybody was very supportive with what I'm doing. I didn't speak to anybody who I was friends with way back in the day who was like upset or offended or anything like that. They were very supportive, but not everybody is wants to be on camera. Not everybody wants to talk about it. Not everybody, they're just like, I support you. I remember it. I was there. I love what you're doing. You're making a movie. Oh my God, that's amazing. But in terms of the live show and being on camera, talking to a whole bunch of people I don't know, I would rather not do that. I want to keep it private. And so, and that's fair. That's fair, right? Like, I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh, come on, you son of a bitch. I mean, I can't, right? But I'm very thankful that at least 3 or 4 people already have said yes. And so I'm very thankful for that. And I'm very excited about it. So if you are into the paranormal, if you are into the supernatural, and I'm not talking about on a Hollywood kind of like the shit we see today with the ghost hunting, the ghost adventures, all that kind of stuff. It's overly sensationalized. It's overly dramatic, for the sake of it. This is back in the year 2000. There was no social media. There was no Facebook. There was no YouTube. We were not going out to that abandoned farmhouse for clicks and likes and hearts and because we had an audience. We didn't have an audience. So, we weren't filming anything and going back and uploading it to something called YouTube. It didn't exist. Smartphones didn't exist. It was a very different world. Bill Clinton was your president. This was before 9/11. It was a very, very, very different world 25 years ago, over 25 years ago now. And so this was a real experience that happened to us that inspired me to write the feature-length psychological horror film that is based on this real experience. So the film that I've written is not a documentary. It's a cinematic, narrative film, but it's inspired by the events that we're going to be talking about on Saturday, February the 21st. And so I'm very excited about this, and it goes to a good cause, of course, because all the proceeds go towards the continued development of the house on Port Robinson Road. And when you're developing a movie, it costs a lot of money when you need to talk to lawyers, or you need to, hire line producers, or you need to, figure out your budgets and hire people and concept art. It's the development process of making a movie costs a lot of money as well. And so, because again, I don't know the actuals yet. That's what I want to get to this year. But it's probably between a $2 and $5 million movie, like it's somewhere in there, which in the world of Hollywood movies, in the world of making movies, that's actually quite low. But it's still, $2 or $3 or $4 or $5 million. And so, but one of the things I want to do this year, especially, is figure out the actuals of that. And one of the ways you do that is, you hire a line producer to, go through the script and bring on, and go through all that. So it goes to a good cause. I'm going to put the links in the chat now. The first link that's going to come up is the link for the live event. So if you want, and by the way, I should say this: the live event is limited to 200 people. That's it. The replay link is open indefinitely, but the live event is limited to 200 people. I've already had people buy tickets today, which is amazing. Thank you so much for both, for the replay and the live. So thank you so much. But the live event is limited to 200 people only. Once it's gone, it's gone. So this is the link to the tickets for the live event. There you go, right there. And then I'll put the tickets, or the link for the, hang on a sec here. Okay, so this will be the replay event. 1 second here. Let me just, sorry folks, 1 sec. Let me get why did it do that? Okay, 1 moment. Let me get the replay link for you. And there is the replay. So the first one you see there is for the live event, the private live stream event. That's for the live. And then the second link is for the replay event. So yeah, would love to see, I don't know if, listen, I have over 30,000 subscribers, but I also understand that not everybody, because this is an IP that nobody's familiar with yet. It's like Port Robinson Road. I don't know what this is. I know you're making a movie, dude. That's really cool. I wish you the best of luck, but I really couldn't give a frog's fat ass. And there's a lot of people that are like that, right? Unless I'm talking Halloween or Michael Myers or something they're familiar with, they don't really care. And that's totally fair. I totally get that. But this is very special to me, very important to me. A lot of you do care, which is amazing. So maybe there's somebody that would like to hear this, because this is not us talking about, over sensationalizing things, dramatizing things, talking about it like, we're the shit you see on YouTube now. I'm not saying there's not going to be stuff that's not going to blow you away and stuff that's not going to make you think and, kind of go, what the heck, right? But there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to discuss and reminisce about. And there may be even some things that just come to us in the moment, because when you haven't seen people for a long time, and you get into that same room and you start talking again, there's going to be things that are going to come to you that are probably going to be in the moment, which is going to be great. So, again, would really appreciate the support. Maybe you know somebody that might be interested in this. Again, there's the replay event, there's the live event. Would love to sell it out. With 30,000 subscribers, you would think I could probably get 200 people, but it can be tough. Hey, if this was Halloween or Michael Myers, I could get 900 people. You know what I mean? But when it's the house on Port Robinson Road, and that doesn't really mean anything to anybody yet, right? When I make this movie and it gets out there and it's a movie you could rent on Prime or who knows, wherever, well, then it's going to mean something, right? Because then it's real, it's tangible. It's like, oh yeah, I know what this is. But right now, nobody really knows. There's no emotional attachment to that title or those words. So I do understand that it's a bit of a tug. It's a bit like pulling teeth to get people to but it means a lot to me, and you're getting in on the ground and doing something really cool. You're being part of the development process of a major feature film. And so, because this isn't a hobby, this isn't me just, playing around. This is my what could be. I mean, it may not be, but it's I'm driving that way at the moment. This could be my first major feature film, and so I'm very excited about it. And having you guys there to help support it and get in on the ground floor in terms of this live event would be awesome. So if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to email me through, because I think my email is actually there as well. When you click on either link, you can scroll down and you can say like contact organizer or something like that. If you have any questions or concerns or whatever it is, send me an email there and I will get back to you right away. But for those of you that tried to purchase yesterday and you were like, what's going on? What happened to Indiegogo? What is this shit, man? What's happening? Just click on the links now. It's now on Universe, which is sort of run by Ticketmaster. If you've purchased tickets off of Ticketmaster, it's very easy. It's and you're done. Like it's click, purchase, done. You know what I mean? I don't know what Indiegogo's done, man. Indiegogo's platform is it's crazy now. It's just weird and crazy. So anyways, those are up. I'm going to be promoting it a lot between now and February 21st because I want to sell it out. I would, if I can't sell it out, you would think we should be able to get to 100 people, right? Maybe 100 people? I mean, I would hope so. But I don't know. We'll see. But I'd love to sell out the live show. I'd love to sell it out. Let me see here. Let me go back. Child's Play says, Dave, I personally want you to play Freddy Krueger in a legit nightmare movie. Would you ever consider it? Of course. If they ever came to me and asked me, of course, I would consider it. No doubt about it. Let's see. Daz says, I've seen so many great films in the last week. Oh, excuse me. Brandon Collins says, I was talking to Daz. I've seen so many great films in the last week and they were all smaller budget movies. I really wish I could still see stuff in theaters. Spectacle only is depressing. I agree. And I'm so excited just sort of jumping off of that idea about, the smaller films. I mean, it's not that and for those of you that are curious about what the house on Port Robinson Road is, this is not a slasher movie. It's not a Insidious. It's not a Conjuring. It's not that kind of a paranormal movie. Actually, I don't even know if the word paranormal or even is in the script. I can't remember, but I have to go back and look. But this is as I've said, in terms of not in plot, but it's like The Others in terms of mood and atmosphere, right? The Others meets, Arrival meets Contact. Like it's a very philosophical, it's a psychological horror drama with supernatural elements, right? So it's not a slasher, it's not an Insidious, it's not a Conjuring, and that's by design. It was never meant to be that way. And what's really crazy now, if you can just indulge me for a second, you know, when I was younger, when I first began writing this script in 2005, I haven't been writing it, you know, constantly since then. Obviously, I've taken breaks, but I started writing it in 2005. And I always knew what this story was supposed to be. I always knew that it wasn't whatever the haunted house horror movies were at that time, because obviously I started writing this before Insidious and The Conjuring ever existed. But whatever was hot at that time, I don't know, Saw, I don't know. I always knew I always knew this story was supposed to be something bigger, not in terms of budget or scope, but bigger thematically, bigger philosophically, and bigger picturely, if I could say that. And what's really cool now is that now that the script is done and the lookbook is done, I feel so excited that it almost feels like the industry is caught up, because now more elevated, more philosophical, more movies like what I've written are more attractive now than I think they've ever been. I'm not saying that it's a slam dunk in terms of getting financing. I'm just saying that more people are paying attention to these kinds of more bigger picture movies. I mean, even something with Spielberg's Disclosure Day. Now, no, I'm not comparing myself to Spielberg, because you know somebody's thinking it. No, I'm just saying in terms of where we are. I mean, you look at all the podcasts now that are talking about more cerebral things and consciousness and life after death and aliens and UFOs and UAPs and bigger picture and what does it mean? We're sort of in a state now where we're talking about them in a bigger picture sense. It's not all just like, you know, Independence Day, you know, and I like those movies too, but it feels like we're that humans are starting to have those deeper philosophical, existential discussions. And it really excites me, because that wasn't happening 25 years ago or 20 years ago. I mean, it was, but I mean, it certainly wasn't happening online, because the internet wasn't what it was. And so I feel very excited about where my script is and the kind of story it is and what I've written, because it feels like it might have a real chance at actually, like, hey, like people are into this shit right now. And what you've written here is, you know, and don't get me wrong, it's not, I mean, it's, I mean, I'm a bit biased, but I believe I've written a very scary, very moody, very atmospheric horror film for sure. But it's not just a horror film, right? It's not your standard haunted house horror movie, right? Again, it's got those existential, philosophical components to it that help to drive the narrative into surprising and unexpected directions. And so, and that's very exciting to me as a storyteller and as a filmmaker. And that's what I want to, that's what excites me. There's always room for Conjuring Part 95 and Insidious Part 32. And sure, those movies are fun. Of course, there's always room for them at the table too. But it's really exciting to see the other kind starting to get a little more mainstream, you know, not quite. I mean, obviously, look, the House on Port Robinson Road is not going to make $500 million at the box office, right? I mean, these movies are not the kind of movies that do that necessarily. I mean, maybe. I mean, you never know. You never know. But generally speaking, you know, they're smaller films, smaller budgets, smaller return, but the themes and the messages and the you know the bigger pictureness of it is just where I'm at now, and so yeah, so I'm obviously very excited about this project. I want to make significant gains in 2026 with this, and one of the ways to do that, of course, is this live stream that I hope you will attend, whether it's live or whether it's replay. It means a lot to me, folks, and the links are there in the chat if you see them. Let me see. Chester saying, how's it going? People are talking to each other. Let me just, hang on. Am I still live? Yeah, I am live. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm still live. All right. Daz says, was never a theater kid, so I prefer home viewing for new films, but spectacle movies will always be in theaters. Rescreening classics will also continue. I agree. I saw Avatar, Fire and Ash again for the second time on New Year's Eve. I saw it in the morning. I went to a 9:45 show, which really means like a 10:15 show, because there's 30 minutes of commercials and trailers. I don't think in all my years of going to the movies, I had ever been to a movie that early. I think I've been to like 11:30 maybe, but I know I've never been to like a 10 o'clock a.m. show. But it was New Year's Eve day, and I thought, why not? I'm going to go see it again because I loved it. I thought it was great. And so I've seen it twice now. It crossed $1 billion at the box office. Will it hit 2? All projections point to no at the moment, but hey, you never know. I mean, January looks pretty, fairly clean. You got the Bone Temple coming, but it looks fairly clean up until maybe Scream, but in February. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought it was, you know me, I'm an unabashed Avatar fan. So I enjoyed it. And it's hard to believe that, whether they'll make a 4 and 5, I don't really know. I guess we'll have to see. Oh, yes, Michael King says the Ready or Not sequel looks decent. I agree. At first, it's funny. When I was watching that trailer at first, I didn't think it looked that great. And then there was a moment where the trailer just kind of sucked me in and there was like this switch. I was like, oh, okay, this looks kind of fun. Michael Parton sends in $5. Thank you, Michael. And says, hey, Dave, with Netflix merging with Warner Brothers, you don't necessarily think the movie theaters are going away for good because I think they'll evolve. Yes, 100%. At the moment, Netflix says that they're not going to run the 17-day window for Warner Brothers films, but that's right now. Fast forward 3 or 4 years from now when people get comfortable and the fuel, the fire has died down and people are relaxing a bit, then I would say that, who knows what Netflix is going to do. I don't know if look, as long as people continue to make gigantic blockbusters that cost $200 and $300 and $400 million to make, movie theaters aren't going anywhere because that's where they make their money back. They're not making their money back on PVOD. They're making some money back on PVOD, but they're not making, $1.5 billion back. So either the industry is just going to start to shrink and overall a way of the blockbusters are going to go. They're going to go away and you're just going to start to see more movies costing 30, 40, 50, there could be a world where like $60 million is like, wow. Do you know what I mean? Because as long as the blockbusters are around that cost, $150, $200 million to make, the theaters will be around. Unless they figure out some business model where Netflix can actually make money off the movies they release, because they don't do that. They make money off of subscriptions and now advertising on their lowest tier. But so we'll see. But no, I agree. They're going to continue to evolve, try to get people into the theaters, right? That's what they're going to do. Brandon says, when The Force Awakens came out, I was working graveyard shift and went to an 8 o'clock showing a couple of times the first week. Yeah, I saw The Force Awakens 3 times. Saw it with Bruce the first time. And I went back, a couple of times. I went back. I loved it. I thought The Force Awakens was great. I thought it was all the things that people said and bitched and moaned about. It's too safe. It's like the old Star Wars. It's like, yep. But I totally understand why they did that. And it was The Last Jedi that really divided the fans. There were people that didn't like The Force Awakens, but the vitriol and the Star Wars, the divide came from The Last Jedi. Everybody hates on The Rise of Skywalker. I think it's measurably a better, more enjoyable film than The Last Jedi. I do. I would watch The Rise of Skywalker 85 times and 933 times on Sunday over ever watching The Last Jedi again. I find The Last Jedi, I like a lot of the themes they're exploring, but overall I just find it a very boring film. And I obviously didn't like the way they treated Luke. And I just thought it was avant-garde for the sake of being avant-garde. It was subverting expectations for the sake of subverting expectations. And so I wasn't a big fan of that at all. And so I thought The Force Awakens was a terrific Star Wars movie. It was what it needed to be to get Star Wars back on track. And then The Last Jedi shit the bucket. And then The Rise of Skywalker could only be what it was because it was a response to The Last Jedi. And so, they fucked it up. Not with The Rise of Skywalker. They fucked it up with The Last Jedi. I know Brandon's a big fan of The Last Jedi, but I think the general consensus is, and I think you would agree, the general consensus is that The Last Jedi was the one that kind of really started to divide people, not The Force Awakens. So, you know, I don't think, yeah, but hey, that's me. That's me. That is me. Robert Thidoff, what's going on? Robert says, Dave, have you watched the TV series The Pit starring Noah Weil? I love it. Happy New Year. Nope, never heard of it. I've never heard of it. Is it good? What is it about? Brandon says, The Last Jedi is better than Return of the Jedi. Ooh, it might be. All three sequels are trash, but I agree. I would watch Rise 85 more times than The Last Jedi. Yeah, I don't agree that they're all trash. I think, The Force Awakens was it also depends on how old, I'm not saying you, but in general, how old you are. If you are, let's say you're 30 years old right now. Well, you grew up with the prequels and that was your Star Wars. But Star Wars was, I often say this, it was dead. It was dead. And the George Lucas ruined my childhood, that came from the prequels. George Lucas was basically run out of making movies because of the vitriol he got from fans who hated the prequels. I'm not kidding. I mean, they're looked back on fondly now, I guess, even though I don't really like them. But they were, oh my God, they were hated. They were loathed like you wouldn't believe. And so Star Wars was virtually dead. And so The Force Awakens brought us back to that familiarity. It was familiar, of course it was. But it needed to do that in order to get everybody back on board, right? It needed to deliver something familiar, something we recognize to bring us back on board. And then, I have a feeling that if J.J. Abrams had done all three movies, because let's not forget, if J.J. Abrams had been able to do all three movies, his third movie would also be very different than the third movie he did, right? And so that doesn't mean that everybody would have liked them. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that I think the sequel trilogy would have been better received and more liked if one person had followed through on a clear vision. But that didn't happen. And what we got is what we got. But The Force Awakens I think is a terrific Star Wars movie. It felt like Star Wars, looked like the old Star Wars that I grew up with, right? And so I was very happy to see that and very excited to see that. I wanted to, I felt good after that. But The Last Jedi was just avant-garde for the sake of, in my opinion, for the sake of it. And it didn't really, it didn't. And then of course they panicked and, it made it made almost $1 billion less than The Force Awakens. And then, I would watch Rise of Skywalker. J.J. Abrams, say what you want about him, but his movies are fun, and Star Wars is supposed to be fun. And The Rise of Skywalker felt like Star Wars. Look, did it feel like two movies in one? Yeah, I loved the choice to make her a Palpatine. I loved it. I think to really wrap it up, they should have done 9 and 10. Give JJ that breathing room to really kind of flesh it out. And then maybe something would have been salvaged for the vast majority of fans. But I also think too that, there's just, you're not going to please everybody, but there were things that they didn't do that they should have done. But I liked The Force Awakens. I thought it was great. Overall. What's going on, Josh? Thanks, buddy. Says, a lot of fans, including some of my friends, were confused by the Nancy-Jonathan breakup scene when they confessed things to each other. Did you pick up on the breakup scene? I had no confusion whatsoever. I knew exactly they were breaking up. 100%. 100%. Yep. I was not. I'm actually surprised to hear so many people were confused. That did not confuse me one iota. Nope. I totally understood the unbreakup scene, or the unproposal scene and what they were doing. Totally made sense to me. It was clear to me. Bloody Four sends in a very generous super chat of $49.99. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And says, I've been watching you since 2016. I gotta say, you are one of one, my man. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. In a good way, in a bad way, I don't know. Maybe mean. Oh, the genuity. I see. Oh, okay. Sorry. For some reason, I thought you were saying something else. I see what you're saying. Right. The passion, the humor has been such a bright light for me in my life. To me, you deserve all good that comes your way and then some. Well, dude, that's a really nice thing to say, man. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate that. Sincerely. That was a really, really nice message, dude. I really appreciate that. Yeah, that's very humbling. Thank you for being here for as long. I mean, you've been here since before I started doing this on the regular. And so you're one of the OGs. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, look, this YouTube thing has been a lot of fun. And I mean, obviously now with my career, obviously I'm still doing the voiceover, of course. By the way, season 4 of Deer Squad is already out, but it's not out in the US, I don't think yet. I believe it's coming to Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon. I believe Deer Squad is on Paramount Plus right now, but I'm not on the first, whatever seasons they have on there, I'm not on that yet. I was brought in for season 4 to take over for another actor. I believe I took over for the actor who goes by the name Mr. Lawrence, who was playing Ian the Duck. And I don't know why he left, but he just did the SpongeBob movie. Maybe that's why he left, because he was conflicting with the SpongeBob movie. I don't know. But nonetheless, season 4 of Deer Squad, Ian the Duck, Trick Alien, that's me. It's coming to Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus soon, I believe. Lana Longbeard, very proud of that show. That's already airing in the UK on Cartoon Network. I play Helmut Hugo and a bunch of side characters, so check that out. Still doesn't have US distribution yet, but it's coming soon. And here in Canada, it's Family Channel and CBC Gem. And then, yeah, I've auditioned for a bunch of other things already too. So very excited about that. So the voiceover is going well. Very happy with where I am at the moment in my career. And of course, the filmmaking is a big thing I'm trying to get going, right? Because for those of you that might be new, I went to film school years ago. That was what I wanted to do with my career, but fell into the acting side. Started out as an on-camera actor, then voiceover and voice acting and all that. And so I'm trying to sort of pursue my love of filmmaking full time. And so the house on Port Robinson Road is one of those big things. By the way, live event. Just saying, don't forget, live event tickets now available. I posted my social media, not on Indiegogo though, on Universe. February 21st, Saturday, you're going to want to be a part of the True Story of Port Rock. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not trying to just hype that up. If you're into that shit, paranormal, if you like watching ghost hunting shows and ghost adventures and Paranormal State and watching all that shit, you're going to want to get in on this because we have a bit of a different perspective, because we're coming at it from a point where this is not a television show. This is not ratings this is like real. I'm not, like a lot of what you see with those types of shows are sensationalized. I'm not saying everything. I can't say that. But a lot of it is sensationalized for views and clicks and likes and hearts and, and it has to get, you know what I mean? This was long before that. And so I think you'll be very surprised at the stories we tell and sort of the perspective we come at it. I'm really looking forward to this. It's the first time we're going to be talking about it and the only time we're going to be talking about it, at least for the foreseeable future. And it's not something that will be made available on my channel. So it's a ticketed event. So, and it helps to support the development funds. Thank you so much. Mark Byrne says, and I'm enjoying the conversation. Well, thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Thank you. Bloody says, you're the OG to me. Awesome, man. Thanks, dude. Really appreciate that. The OG. I love it. Yeah, I started this channel. Now, when I say I started this channel, I mean, I created a YouTube channel in 2006 when I was 27. And I didn't really do anything with it. And then I started uploading Michael Myers fan films, right? And Halloween fan films and that kind of stuff. And then it was 2017 that I started to really jump on board and talk about Halloween and the David Gordon Green trilogy and Blumhouse and John Carpenter. And then the rest is history. I got sort of, and it's no fault of, you guys, and it's no fault of mine. It's just sort of the way things were. I sort of got it tied and roped into being the Halloween guy. So it became difficult to sort of branch out and talk about other things that weren't Halloween. But that's what I'm trying to do now, and trying to sort of, flex my muscles and spread my wings elsewhere, because I'm more than just the Halloween guy. I will always talk about Halloween when there's stuff to talk about. But of course, I'm also somebody that works in the entertainment industry. So I want to, talk about that and share my journey in that as much as I can. Obviously, there's, if I sign NDAs, I can't, but, but I just mean, share that, and just kind of, I was going to say a couple of things there. Branch out, I'll go with that, in more ways, which is very sort of exciting. So it's cool when I get messages from people that are OGs. And Bloody says, I'm 27 now. He's 27. So you've been here since you were 16. Well, I'm 47 in a few months. God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Absolutely incredible. Eddie Michaels 16 says Stranger Things 5 destroyed the show's legacy. I disagree, Eddie. I disagree. I don't think it's destroyed the legacy. I think that's your opinion, right? I mean, obviously that's your opinion. But I don't think it's destroyed the legacy. I think that in time, when the dust settles and people are not so emotional about it, I think people will watch it in retrospect, and it may not end up being your favorite, but I don't think it's destroyed its legacy. Now, I can't tell you not to feel that way. If that's how you feel, that's fair. But when I look at Stranger Things, I think it will continue to be more popular than ever. I think it will continue to sell merch. I think it will continue to be one of the most popular TV shows on that platform. I think it will, continue. I think its legacy is firmly cemented. And it is. And it was firmly cemented long before season 5 ever existed as one of the biggest television shows in the history of television. And I don't think that's changed because perhaps you were disappointed with the season and where it went. And that's fair. You're allowed to feel that way, of course. I mean, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I disagree. And I didn't get what I wanted either. Ultimately, I had issues with the season. Overall, I enjoyed the final episode more than the rest of the season. The energy and the vibe of the final episode is kind of where I expected us to start with episode 1, right? Like where we left off at the end of season 4, the apocalyptic sort of, oh my God, there's 11. Everybody's looking over Hawkins. Looks like there's a bomb. I was expecting us to hit the ground running, and we didn't. And then we have Holly, and no disrespect. I mean, she's a terrific actress. She's absolutely adorable. I thought she was great. She has a hell of a career ahead of her. But to focus so much on the character, I thought was an odd creative choice. And so I had issues too. And I didn't get what I ultimately wanted. And I've been saying for years, I wanted, spoiler alert, by the way, so you might want to check out. But if you haven't seen it already, you're in no rush, or you either don't care. And I've talked about it on my channel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I've been saying for years, and as a matter of fact, the last episode of McRae Live I did in November was all about this. And people can vouch this for me in the chat. I've been saying for years, I think probably ever since the end of maybe season 3 or 4, I've been saying that, and not because I want people to die, but just because my read, and you can read it differently, but my read in terms of the themes and sort of the structure and the narrative and the cinematic language and where I thought they were going, I've always wanted and hoped that 11 would commit the ultimate sacrifice. To not out of vain, but of course to save the world, to save Hawkins, to die a hero. And I've always wanted that. And we kind of got that. Well, we got that, but without the consequences. And that's sort of what I don't like, is that the Duffers couldn't pull the trigger. They couldn't commit. Now, and I understand why. There's no, there's no big business in Dead 11 merch, right? I get it. Like I said earlier in the show, I totally get it. But I would have pulled the trigger. And it's not how somebody dies. It's why they die. It's for what they die for. And I get it. I've seen the arguments, but she was an abuser. abused child. She should be able to have a happy life. But it wasn't just about that. It was about her having agency. It was about her being able to make her own choices. She says it to Hopper when she gives back the bracelet to Sarah. She talks about being able to make her own choices. I need to make my own choice. This is what I need to do. My agency and my choices have been stripped away from me. She says it to Mike in The Black Void. I'm paraphrasing. I need you to convince the others why I'm making my choice, or why I'm making the choice I am. She's talking about choices. Having agency, having autonomy, and making the choice is a very big part of the character's arc. Now, can you wrap that in with also sending her off living happily ever after and getting married and babies and frolicking with Mike and, the coast of Iceland and, yes, of course you could do that. But I don't think it's as powerful. I don't think it's as mythic, and I don't think it's as powerful, and I don't think it's, in my opinion, strong narratively to have her survive. I just don't. I think, again, it's not how she dies or that she dies, it's how she dies. And I think it was stronger. And when they had done it, I was like, oh, fuck, they did it. And then they have this escape clause, right? Just in case they want to bring her back in 10 years, which is probably what they're going to do anyway. And so there's this escape clause. And I get it. It's not comforting. It's not necessarily emotionally satisfying from a comfort standpoint, especially if you're attached to the characters. You're coming at it from an emotional place, not necessarily through the lens of a filmmaker and storytelling, but being attached and super fandom and all that kind of stuff. I totally get it because I feel the same way. I don't want her to die, but the writing was on the wall when I watched the seasons and I'm like, oh, she's going to die a hero. Yes. Oh, that's so powerful. That's mythic. You know what I mean? Like that's fucking mythology right there. That's like fucking, you know what I mean? And so I thought, but then they did it, but they gave themselves an out. So, but listen, and so that's why for me, it didn't really bother me. I mean, it bothered me they didn't commit, but it didn't bother me. Like, it's not like, I got to be honest, it would have bothered me more had she survived and they all went off to live in Iceland, or her and Mike went off to live in Iceland and live happily ever after and have little, Mike and 11 babies. I would have been like, just feels strange because I've said, how does this woman live in a normal world? How does she live in a normal world? Yes, in principle, she might deserve that. In principle, she might deserve to live in a normal world. I sound like a fucking, preacher. God heals. No, but it's true, right? She might deserve that, but ultimately, it might not move in that direction. It might not be the right choice for her character because as long as she is still out there living her best life, no matter how hidden she is, unless you strip her of her power, and the Duffers didn't want to do that because of the thematic nature of what her character represents, which is childhood innocence, which is superpower and magic and all that kind of stuff. That's the sort of the archetype and the theme around her character. That's what she represents. They didn't want to strip that power away from them. So what they decided to do was have her go away. There's many ways you can do it. You can kill her. You can have her run away. And so they killed her, but then they said, but maybe she ran away. And it's like, that's what I don't like about it. But it is better. I will say, even though there's a dichotomy of what happened, it's still better than having her, in my mind, go off and get married. It's the more cozy ending. It would have pleased all the Malevolent fans out there, and you would have been able to go to bed at night. Not saying you, I mean the general you would have been able to go to bed at night going, yay, totally cool. But at the end of the day, as a storyteller myself, I do understand why they made that choice. It's more powerful structurally through the cinematic language, and it's more mythic. And this is a science fiction fantasy film. This is not a romantic comedy, or this is not a romance. I mean, this is all about, it's a coming of age story. And like the Duffers said, we began where, and I called that, by the way, and those in the chat can vouch for me on this. Did I not say on my social media, and maybe even in that show, I said that I would love it if they ended the way they began. So it rhymed, where you have the kids in the basement without actually, let me go and get that. Let me go get that social media post. Let me toot my own horn here. Indulge me. Indulge me. Let me go back. When did I post this? Let me go back. It was before Christmas. Oh boy. It was before, hang on a sec here. Let me go back. This was from, I think it was before the Disclosure Day trailer. So it was a while ago. Rob Reiner. Yeah, going to get that out of the way. Barney. One of the episodes I did for Barney. Billboard. Robinson Road. Oh, geez. Was it really that long ago? It might have been. It might have been a really long time ago here. Hang on a sec, folks. Indulge me. Don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. I know attention spans are, really bad, but don't leave. Here we go. Nope. Wait, maybe it's before this one. Here we go. Okay, so this is from November 24th. This is from November 24th, 2025. Are you all still with me? Maybe not. This is from November 24th, 2025. Some people checked out. Isn't it amazing, eh? And I said this. I said, you know what would be cool? You know what would be a cool way to end season 5? In the final moments of the final episode, we fade into an epilogue set a few months after the big climactic event, the one where 11 sacrificed herself to save the world. Lucas, Mike, Will, and Dustin, I accidentally forgot about Max, and Dustin are back in Mike's basement. Older, worn out, changed, but still them. 11's absence hangs in the air and is deeply felt. They're gathered around the same old table, rolling dice, reminiscing, and thinking about the future. The future college is around the corner, and they're all about to go their separate ways. What makes this moment powerful is that everything they've been through over the last few years, every loss, every battle, every sacrifice has forced them to grow up faster than they ever should have. Yet they are on the cusp of adulthood, still sharing one last flicker of childhood innocence around that table. As they play one final D&D game together, the camera slowly pulls back on a dolly, wider and wider, letting us watch the story close exactly where it began. That's what I wrote on November the 24th. Just call me Nostradamus. A little bit. I mean, obviously it's not exact, but is it a coincidence that the Duffers came to the same conclusion? Of course not. And if you're a filmmaker and you understand story and rhyming and rhythm and structure, and you probably came to that conclusion too, right? It's like, yeah, that totally makes sense of why they would want to. So I'm not surprised by it. I left out Max, by the way. So sorry, Max. But I'm not surprised by that, because it makes sense. Because if you notice 11's absence in that final frame, you feel it. And I saw so many people going, 11 should have been there. It feels weird without her. Exactly. And it's supposed to feel weird without her. It's supposed to feel normal. It's supposed to feel strange, because the magic is gone. Because when we met them at the beginning, 11 wasn't there. And then we saw this whole story over 5 seasons of magic and childhood and riding your bikes in the 80s and Spielberg and John Carpenter and a fucking, little girl with, telekinesis and moving shit and monsters. And then all of a sudden that's all gone, including the girl. And all of a sudden things are back to normal. They're older. They're about to go off to college, and things feel strange. They feel there's a sense of normalcy. There's a void of magic. Right? And that's by design. The Duffers wanted you to feel things going back to normal. They wanted you to feel the weight of that loss, of that strangeness. That's on purpose. It's not like she's not supposed to be there, right? You know what I mean? And so anyways, I don't mean to go down a tangent on this, but that's how I feel about it. Eddie says, Dave, it's not creative or brave to leave it open to the audience. I'm fine with 11 living or dying, but it was bad writing to have her ditch her friends at gunpoint. Well, I wouldn't say it's bad writing. I wouldn't say it's bad writing. It's great writing, what they've done, because they understand the mythic nature of her arc. But where I will agree with you is they're not committed to their creative choice. And so it is them trying to have their cake and eat it too. There was an article, it might have been, maybe you read the same one, I don't know, but there was an article that was where they did an interview. I don't know if it was before Volume 1 came out, but it was fairly recent, the last few months, where they mentioned something about this isn't going to be a Game of Thrones red wedding. I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I don't know what that means, but you probably do. This isn't going to be a Game of Thrones red wedding situation. Therefore, one of the brothers said something to the effect, and I'm paraphrasing, but something to the effect of, we didn't want to upset anybody and we don't want to upset anybody. And I remember reading that going, oh, that's not good. That's not good. Listen, again, you don't kill people for the sake of it, arbitrarily, to be edgy. No, of course not. Of course not. It has to be properly motivated. It has to be. It's not that legacy characters die. It's how they die and for what for they die, right? Of course. But when I read that, I thought, you can't, listen, sometimes the best endings are going to piss people off. The committed end, listen, they're going to upset people, right? Where I think for you, and I respect that, respecting what you said there, it's like, no, dude, I mean, I'd be okay if she died. What you're responding to is that, and that's kind of where I was too. I'm like, I get it, but you got to commit to it, man. You got to commit to it. And they wanted to have more of the, is she out there? Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. I think there's a better way to do it. I think maybe too, what rubs me the wrong way a little bit is, although they commit to this, dichotomy, they really do lean heavily into Mike's theory. Right? You know what I mean? I mean, I think we all can agree that although there is a dichotomy in play, there is more, albeit maybe circumstantial evidence, that definitely points to her survival. Well, that's not, a true dichotomy is equal amount of evidence from both sides. Do you know what I mean? And so if I had been creating it, and if it really was down to, we got to split, we got to have both here, I wouldn't have leaned so heavily to one side. I would have evened it out where it really is a true, I don't know, because there's so many people now here that are leaning very much into that she survived, and she probably did, because like I said, there's no merch, there's no money to be made in Dead 11. And so, in the future, right? But that's where I wouldn't have, listen, just be thankful for those of you that didn't want her to die. Be thankful I wasn't in charge, because I would have killed her. Not in a arbitrarily, but I would have pulled the trigger and made the ultimate sacrifice. Cause that's powerful, man. The first time she gets to make a choice that is her own autonomy. She says it to Hopper. I'm not Sarah. I'm me. You know what I mean? The first choice she makes is to sacrifice herself to save the fucking world and her friends and Hawkins and die a fucking legend and a hero. Whoa. Wow. You know what I mean? Pretty crazy stuff. Let me see here. Let me see. Let me scroll back. Did I miss any super chats? I don't think I did. What did you? Oh no, I did. Hang on. I'm getting to them. What did you think of the 3 Avengers Doomsday trailers so far? I only saw one, and it was the Thor one. I saw it when I went to see Avatar. I haven't seen the others. I'm not a big superhero guy, so I've only seen 3 or 4 Marvel movies. So Avengers Doomsday, I'm really excited for all of you that are very excited about it, and that are excited to go see, Doomsday. That's not a movie I'm going to go and, it's not a movie I'm going to end up seeing. But I'm very excited for you guys, for all you guys that are really excited about it. But I saw the Thor trailer and it looked cool. I mean, it's Thor, right? Pretty cool. They should make an 11 one. 11 will be in Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday. All these people are going to be in Avengers Doomsday. That'd be really fun. And I say all of this, by the way, also saying 11's my favorite character. And I still would have pulled the trigger. You know what I mean? Just from a storytelling perspective, that's all. And then, thank you, Josh. Follows up, says, what were your favorite board games growing up with friends? Did you play games with Bruce? I love Dustin choosing D&D over a party. Can you imagine how Gen Z would react to the board games today? I played board games. I mean, snakes and ladders and checkers, but I've never played D&D. I've never played it. I wouldn't even know how to play it. I might be pretty good at it actually because I'm so theatrical, but and I'm a good storyteller. But I don't know. I wouldn't know the first thing of how to play it. Not really. No, we didn't really play board. I played board games with my family, like at Christmas time, we'd get out board games and things like that. But with my friends, not really. I mean, I grew up through, in the age of, the original Nintendo and Sega Genesis. And, so if we were playing games, it was video games. It was Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario 2 and Mike Tyson's Punch Out and you know what I mean? But the board games were kind of like a family thing, hey, it's Christmas time. The family's all around. Let's play that game, headbands where you got to put the, you know what I mean? Or let's play, do you remember the board game Nightmare where you had to put in the VHS tape and the gatekeeper would come on the screen and you had to speak to do you remember that? They made a slew of those games. My family and I played that at Christmas time. That was a lot of fun. But I didn't really play board games with my friends. I don't think, anyway. I don't recall playing board games with my friends. I'm not entirely sure. I don't recall. But yeah. Brandon says, I played so much Sorry and Risk growing up. Oh, yeah. Those are good. There was always a hierarchy to nerd stuff. Us movie geeks look down on the D&D kids, and we all look down on the. It's true. It's true. I was a movie nerd. I wasn't. Like you said, there's hierarchy to nerds, and certainly the Dungeons and Dragons and the role playing games. I was not into. I never, and I would have been really good at it. You know what I mean? But I just never got into it. I was too much. I mean, I was a hockey. Like I wouldn't go as far as to say I was a jock, but I was a hockey player. I played 13 years of ice hockey. How Canadian of me. So I played sports, I ran, I worked out, I was an athlete, but I was a movie nerd too. And so I'd go to the movies, I made home movies, I went to film school. And so, but I wasn't quite the D&D nerds. But I knew them. I mean, you could see them, so yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. But, Battleship. Yes. Battleship. Yes. I remember Battleship. Totally Battleship. All right. I just want to drop those links into the chat again, if you don't mind. Again, this is for the private live stream, folks. Private live stream for the real story of the house on Port Robinson Road. The first link you're going to see come in. Well, actually, maybe no. Yeah, I'll do it that way. The first link you're going to see is to the live show. That is to the live show. Right there on Saturday, February the 21st, 2026. You get to partake in the Q&A. You also get emailed a digital concept poster as well. This is the real story behind Port Robinson Road. All the proceeds go towards the continued development of the house on Port Robinson Road. It would mean the world to me, folks, to see you there. I'd love to get, it's limited to 200 people. I'd love to get all 200 sold. I don't know if I will, but I'd love to do that if possible. But if you can't make it live and you want to get the replay event, it's kind of like renting a movie. There is the link to the replay event as well. That's a link to the replay event as well. So the first link is to the live event. The second link is to the replay event. And I'd love to see you in the chat on the live event. But again, if you can't, you can pick up the replay event and you're still supporting the cause. And that replay link will be available for 72 hours. So it's better than renting a movie, because renting a movie, I think it's only 48, right? So you get 72 hours to watch it, and then it's gone. And that will be emailed to you the morning after the event. So like 9 a.m. Sunday, February 22nd. But this is the platform I'm using is Universe, which is run by Ticketmaster. So again, I was going to use Indiegogo, and I did yesterday, but they've completely revamped their platform. So it's a whole thing and it's just dog shit. So no offense to Indiegogo, but you really it's not user friendly anymore. And so I moved them over to here. And so I know a lot of you have been waiting for this. Again, very excited about it. Oh, let me actually, you know what? Let me play that video. Where is that video now? Where is that video? Did I upload it? I think I did. The video is, hang on, it's part of the, I think it's this one. We'll see. I'll play this. This is a little teaser. Well, these are some of my friends, my old college friends. Nope, that's not it. Oh, that was cool, but that's not it. Is it this one? Hang on a sec. You know what? Why don't I just do this so I can actually, let me put over to studio mode and let me actually, oh no, there it is. It says right there, PRR live event. That's it. Okay. Sorry. All right, here we go.
I don't know. I don't know how to make, I mean, mine was a personal experience. I was scared when I went, but it was deeper than just being scared that it was dark and an abandoned house. It was a different kind of fear.
Way back in there is where the house used to stand.
So much stuff went on.
I mean, as I said, like, I've been through a lot of different things in my life. 10 years I worked as a paramedic. I've done psych nursing. I've been a nurse. I've, through my other stuff and my spiritual stuff, I still to this day have not experienced anything like it whatsoever. And I've been to other haunted areas. I mean, heck, I've done some stuff with Beth. Yeah. Nothing has come close whatsoever.
Before going to Fort Robinson Road, I would have been one of those guys. I wouldn't necessarily laugh at you, but I would think to myself, yeah, that's a waste of time. There's really no point in going. I'd never really experienced anything like that. So in my eyes, it really wasn't truth. I came from a background of, I was brought up in a Christian home. I wasn't really influenced with a lot of the spirits are out there, or I believe in aliens or anything like that. But going to Port Robinson Road really just took my eyes and peeled them right open and said, you know what? There's the possibility for this to be out there.
What do you think of when you look out there? Limited to 200 people, folks. 200 people. That's it. So again, the links are in the chat. The first link you see there is to the live event. If you want to join us live, not on camera, you just be in the chat room like this, where you get to partake in the Q&A, and you'll also get a digital concept poster emailed to you as well. If you cannot join us live, or you simply don't want to, that's okay too. The second link there in the chat is to the replay event, and that will be emailed to you. The show will be emailed to you the morning after the live event, and you'll have 72 hours to watch it, and then it's gone. So it's like renting a movie. But you don't get a poster, and obviously you don't get to partake in the Q&A because you're not live. So that makes sense. But again, all proceeds go toward the continued development of the house on Port Robinson Road, and I thought this was a really cool way to do it. So I'd love to sell it out. Again, I don't know if I will, but if you want to, show your love for me or the channel, or say thank you, or whatever you want to do, this would mean the world to me. This is a great way to show your appreciation, is to come and hang out with us and talk about this crazy, very unusual experience that not only changed my life, and that I'm not saying that in a hyperbolic way. I sincerely mean that. It changed my life. I mean, here I am, nearly 47 years old, still talking about something I experienced when I was 20, or 21, and I've written a feature-length film, and I have a lookbook, and I'm, ready to pursue a whole film with this. I mean, obviously it changed my life. It affected me a lot. And for the first time, we're going to be talking about the why. And what has happened and what we experience. So again, if you're into that kind of thing, if you love watching those kinds of, I mean, like you're into the supernatural, the paranormal, the unknown, you're into the topic on a really sort of mature level, and you really kind of want to hear about this, we're going to lay it out. So, yeah. So I'd really appreciate, again, the links to the 2 tiers are there. It would be greatly appreciated. I got the super chat from Josh. Rasili says, awesome. Maybe about the little promo I did. Not sure what you're saying awesome to, but thank you. Dave, are you looking forward to the Winter Olympics? Rooting for Team USA hockey gold, but being a huge Penguins fan, I always root for Crosby as well. Yeah, I totally forgot the Olympics are coming up in a few weeks, a month or so. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we always do well at the Winter Olympics, obviously, being Canada, and obviously we always do well in hockey. It's great to have the NHL players back. Obviously, that works well in our favor. But the U.S. is strong, too. I mean, the U.S. is strong, too. So it will likely be a U.S.-Canada gold final, just based on the pure talent on both sides. But not necessarily. I mean, crazier things have happened. Sweden just won the World Juniors. Canada won bronze, but still, I mean, crazier things have happened. So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to be, checking it out and rooting for Team Canada, of course. So it should be good. What time is it here? Oh, we've been on for almost an hour and a half. I'll go a few more minutes. We shall go a few more minutes. And by the way, if you have any questions at all about the live show, about the stream, about, the replay link, all that kind of stuff, just send me an email. There's a, when you click on the links, either link, whether you're going to join live, or whether or not you're going to get the replay, there's an email there to email me if you have any questions in regards to anything that pertains to that, so just want to let you know, you can reach out to me as well. Let me scroll back. Brandon says, Eddie, talking to Eddie. I thought you were talking about Eddie in the movie. 11 cared more about the ending Kay's abilities to create another Vecna than she did for her own friends. I can live with that. Yeah, well, again, I mean, the whole Stranger Things, look, there are many different endings you could have gone with. I just feel thematically the stronger ending was the ultimate sacrifice. It's not the coziest ending. I get it. And for everybody, to anybody out there who is angry, and you're angry because it looked like, not that Eddie's angry. Eddie says, well, no, I can live. It's just the dichotomy I don't like. I just wish it was more certain. But there are fans that are angry that they're pointing to the possibility of her death or the fact that she's living alone. I just think it's better if she was dead. I do. It means it's so mythic. It's so legendary, I mean, and there's no, and then it's permanent, not because she's dead, but because of what it means thematically, symbolically. It's powerful storytelling, but a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. You never know. But she'll be back. She'll be back. Brandon says, can't wait to watch curling. That shit is captivating. Actually, you know what? Curling I know it sounds like you're being a little sarcastic, but curling actually can be. It can be. Get really into it. It's like darts. I know darts is huge in the UK. Oh, it's huge. Is there a darts at the Summer Olympics? I don't know. Maybe there should be. I'm not really sure. But listen, folks, that is going to do it for this Q&A. Thank you for tuning in, everybody who tuned in. We talked some Avatar. We talked some Stranger Things. We talked about the house on Port Robinson Road. We talked movies. We talked, we just shot the shit for a little bit and got caught up. I hope you are all doing well. You're all amazing. Thank you for your continued support here on the channel, tuning in, just hanging out with me. I sincerely hope your 2026 is amazing. Whatever you are hoping, whatever you are wanting from 2026, I hope you get it. I do. I sincerely do, because I know there's something obviously really big that I want from 2026, and I would love to get. There's always something that we're hoping for, right? Whether it's professionally, whether it's personally, whether it's big or small, I hope whatever it is, you truly succeed at getting it. I mean it. And I mean that not in a greedy way. I just mean that in, you've worked hard, you've you've deserved the break. Everybody deserves that break every once in a while, And so I hope 2026 is that break year for you, sincerely. Thank you for tuning in, folks. Really, really appreciate it. Don't forget, of course, the links again. Would love to sell out the live show, which would be great. Only 200 available. We did sell some today. Don't know how fast they're going to go, but there's only 200 available. Well, now there's not. There's less than that. The replay link is open though indefinitely, so there isn't a limit to that. Folks, have a great rest of your Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in with me tonight, and I will talk to you all very soon. Have a great day. Have a great night, and we'll talk soon. Alrighty. Cheers.